Hi guys, and welcome to this week's edition of VISIONIZE. The artist we're discussing this week is Jonathan Meese. He is so cool, and I'm wearing in his honor an Adidas tracksuit top because he is always in his Adidas. So sexy, so right on, so hip, so retro. The painting we're going to be discussing is called MOND IST AUFGEGANGEN, which means the moon is risen. It's 3 meters tall, it's 2 meters wide, which means that I can lay it on the floor and park my car onto it with plenty of space all the way around it. So it is a big old painting. It's a self-portrait and it is dangerous. Activated, one of my favorite words. It is like a devil that is spawned in front of you. It is shifting, it is vibrating, it is body popping, it is aggressive. And I can't really see the outline or the definition between the silhouette of the body and the background. It is smudged in there. And in order to describe this kind of medieval deity that has appeared in front of you with lightning bolts and stripes and humbug lines and kind of cobweb structures, we're going to have to pretend that we're going to paint it. So we're going to need 10 bowls, 10 deep, rich bowls of different types of icing and meringue, because that is the texture of the paint that Jonathan Meese has applied onto this canvas, which is oil on canvas. These bowls are lemon, they are orange flavoured mix, they are crushed conifer, that kind of colour. They are amphibian, so sometimes somewhere in between conifer and lemon, but there are conifer trees which are lemon scented. We've also got satsuma, we've got strawberry, we've got raspberry mix, we've got chocolate mix and toffee mix, and also we've got grapefruit in there. So let's try and paint this painting. The first thing we're going to have to do is deal with the background, and oh my goodness, let's just cover the whole thing in meringue. So you're just wiping on this meringue, smudging in at the edges, all over, real quick, really aggressively. Put it on there, cake it on there. You can see your fingerprints in it. You can see where your fingers have made relief lines in it. Right, immediately, maybe even while it's wet, I'm not sure, we're going to start working in the top left-hand corner, and we're going to get out the licorice batter. We're gonna smudge it into like a small kind of the size of the palm of your hand. It's a curve, and then immediately clean our hands, go into the orange batter, and we're gonna make another mark in front of that, which is bulbous and botryoidal. It's kind of soft form, but it's plonked on there. Then immediately on top of that, we've got marks that are in what look like they're blue, but I'm going to use like the coconut mix because I feel it's that kind of flavour against the other things. And we've got a smudged on line, almost like it's been done with a lipstick, of like a pointy ear, for want of a better word, and then circles inside of it like polo mints. And it kind of looks like it could be a demon's ear or something, and behind that you've got all kinds of things going on. We're going to shove on some lemon batter, some orange batter, more licorice, more pepper tones, maybe even kind of maybe we're going to crush in some mushroom kind of stuff in there. It really is layered and textured and rich and angry and dangerous and flippant, but he's not a flippant artist. He does come across as very naive in his style, but he is, and I'm not sure if he would actually agree with that, or maybe he would totally agree with by saying, yeah, I'm totally flippant, in, a wonderful German accent. So then we have this head, the skull, and we're going to frame it with our thumb, put in the citron or the lemon flavoured icing sugar, and just do the curve of the skull. It's a flattened skull. And then above it, behind it, we've got all these different shades and tones of conifer, kind of crushed conifer batter, smudged in behind it really quick, and it fades out really badly, like you're trying to clean your hand on a tea towel. It's that kind of movement going straight into the licorice again. This frames the top of the skull, and then you've got, let's go back to the batter, which is meringue. We're going to make eye sockets just rub them into circles, and then take a little bit of the lemon and just make maybe an eyebrow. And then on the other side, we're going to do a yellow outline of an eye, and then we're going to put on literally eyelashes that look like petals of a daisy. Boom, 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 boom. So we've got these two eyes, but wait, all of a sudden it turns into what looks like a baboon's snout. So it's striped with humbug. It comes forward, and it is, let's go for rich peppermint stripe, and then an orange stripe. Again, rich peppermint, all done with your finger, plonked on or smudged on or smudged on, really thick. That comes down to the nose, which is absolutely like blood, or like a blood orange or blood itself. It's like a really thick kind of Rudolph nose in blood. The cheekbones are hollowed out. You can see that they are drawn on really naively with licorice flavour, and these cheekbones are sunk in and goes down to the jaw, and we've got these grinning, angry, spiky teeth. They literally look like zigzags, and they are in electric yellow. So it is lemon teeth that we've scraped on with our fingers, and we've used lemon flavoured icing, but we've squidged in 20 lemons. It is like, oh my gosh, that lemon. And then the neck area, we're gonna try and build a form, kind of, not really, but there's like so many marks and different things, and there's prehistoric marks in there. There's smudges where you've put in toffee and licorice on the palm of your hand, and you've rubbed it in there good and neat, really quick. And then on top of that, we've got more orange, just to give a little bit of form. On the left-hand shoulder, on the left-hand side of the screen, we have streaks of colour, which are very definite. So there is a lane of yellow icing sugar. Then we've got coconut that's smudged and comes up somewhere, another lane. And then we've got kind of a much cooler, might I say, like frosty kind of, maybe semi-frozen icing sugar that's kind of outlining there as well. And then all of a sudden we're on the top of the shoulder, which is meeting the edge of the canvas. And then right on that shoulder, maybe on the chest bone, we've got chest area, we've got what looks like a medal or a medallion or a rosette or a brooch. It is a fist of blood red or raspberry. It is, and it's got veins coming off it, maybe possibly going into the body. But actually what looks like it looks like he's actually wearing like a regal coat or something with a very high collar. And this coat is smudged on. We're going to scrape on all the different shades of things like the conifer green, kind of smudged, crushed conifer icing, maybe a little bit of licorice in there, maybe a lot of yellow in there, and maybe, can I say, like almost like the texture of a frog. So it's kind of this in jelly-like amphibian type thing going on. And then you can see the collar stand, which is lined with orange, just smudged on with a single mark. There's no shading in this. There's no beautiful tinkering around. It is dynamic. He is activated. He's had 100 coffees before he came to this canvas. The right-hand side of the canvas is predominantly the shoulder area and what's happening over the shoulder and some of the chest area. It's really hard. It is a painting in its own right. In the top right-hand corner, we have two words, Mau-Mau, and underneath that we have Maul auf. Now, I don't really know what that means, but that is painted on, really direct, really simple, in a Satsuma tasting, thick, gloopy mix. And then underneath it is really difficult. I can only describe it as what looks like an owl or some kind of abstract form, which is like a block of, the top area is coconut icing, and then underneath it, it's coconut batter with raspberry batter scraped on. And it looks like it's on the shoulder, so it kind of looks like a parrot or an owl or something. I'm sure I'm wrong. It's just a thing that's there. It's something coming out of the neck as well as something sat on the shoulder. Then trademark, hence why I'm wearing it today, you've got these three dynamic lines that curve down to form a shoulder in electric lemon. And behind the electric lemon, first of all, you have like a chocolate area, which kind of looks like a dead dog or something, way off in the background behind his shoulder, and maybe a splash of raspberry. And then between the 3 stripes and the rest of the body, it kind of looks like it's floating, to be honest. There's like a gentle wave of the ocean between these 3 stripes and the body. The heart area, also really complicated. It is, it looks like a kind of ventricle, like a hole, but it's in meringue, sat on top of the richest, darkest, beefiest, punchiest conifer batter that you can think of. And in the meringue, we're going to take our finger and put it in the dark toffee that's almost licorice, and we're just going to plonk on dots, dunk, 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 all around the white area. And then off this ventricle, which is the heart, I'm sure it might not be the heart, but I'm going to describe it as the heart, we've got more veins coming off, thick tendrils coming off, angular, but then obviously they almost become the 3 stripes of an Adidas tracksuit again. And then the bottom half of the painting is a lot more simpler than the top half. It's a lot more easy to work out. The main body of the bottom half is this kind of citron, conifer, amphibian background. It's a little bit more translucent. That's why I say amphibian, because it has that kind of jelly kind of translucency to it. But then there are these dynamic brush marks. We're going to paint them on really dynamic in the darkest conifer to make almost like a spiderweb lattice, really rough, really quick, maybe only 12 lines, 12 dominant lines. And then in between this spiderweb, in each of those segments that those lines are created as they crisscross over each other, we can have a spiral of lemon. So it's really hypnotic almost, it's really dominant. And while all this is happening, you've got the odd bleed of raspberry or strawberry in there. On the left-hand side, we've got actually a bag. That's right, folks, a bag. It's a vinyl record bag, or a kind of retro Adidas bag, because he is known for wearing these bags as well as his jogging suits by Adidas. And it is in the colour of conifer, and it's outlined by, I would like to say, kind of something that's iridescent, like a cold metal. This bag, coming out of it, are more Adidas stripes. So 3 stripes naively painted with your 3 middle fingers in lemon again. And then there's a spring, a coil, like the suspension on a car, really big, chunky, hardcore spring. That's in Satsuma. And then down the side, underneath the spring, left-hand side, towards the bottom, you've got smudged on with the whole of the hand, a lot of kind of raspberry. It's rich, it's really, really rich. But then on top of that, you've got veins in what looks like a really, really dark conifer kind of scent, like a pine. On the other side, we've got a belt. It's black in outline, so it's done with licorice, and it's got a black iron cross in the center buckle. Now, you know, this is quite mild when it comes to a Jonathan Meese painting. He can be so provocative, which I'm quite envious about. But he's got this black iron cross, and then right next to it, just on the other side of it, he's got an electric yellow thunderbolt that is pointing down. And this thunderbolt is kind of in the crotch area, and it's like a wasp, it's like a bumblebee. It is smudged on thunderbolt in electric yellow with an outline of licorice. It's pointing to the word drill, put on there really rough, really simple, like a dangerous sign. But even more dangerous is the word next to it, which is revolver, which is painted initially in this dark licorice and outlined in this throbbing heat, like you've banged your thumb with the hammer, and it is pulsating with heat. And that says revolver. So, my goodness, I'm exhausted after describing this thing, but it is a beast. It is a beautiful beast, and I love it. That's the end of the description. Hope you're energized. Hope it visualized something for you. Subscribe, like, and comment. Bye.